Hi guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. I'm gonna be taking you guys through my day with me today, focusing on what I am eating today. If you are new here, hello, welcome. I'm just a girl getting through her 20s, her later 20s now. I love taking you guys along. Today, I'm gonna be showing you what I eat as someone who really does try to be as healthy as possible, but fully believes in balance. So while Monday through Friday, I try to eat at home and really prioritize protein and vegetable intake, but on the weekends, I like to go and enjoy a cocktail with my friends and go out to eat and have a burger. So I think it's so important to have that balance, but I do want to be healthy, be my best self, live a long, healthy life. So I really do try to take supplements and prioritize vegetables, fruit, protein when I can. There was a long period where I actually tracked my macros, so I tracked my protein intake, and I'll still do it here and there, and I would try to hit around 130 grams a day, 130 to 140, I would say. And if you've never done that before, I actually think that's a great way to get started on your healthy eating journey, tracking, because I think it really shows you what you're eating. But I feel like I did that for so long that I don't do it very often anymore. I do it here and there every once in a while if I'm really wanting to crack down or even just check in and make sure, like, hey, are you still hitting that protein intake that you think you're hitting? Today is going to be an intuitive eating type of day. I just rolled out of bed, so I am going to start with my morning beverages and supplements, starting with my water. My husband actually always fills this before he leaves to go into the office, so I always wake up to fresh ice water, which is so sweet, but I do like to put lemons in it, so I usually will just squeeze in a lemon. Lemons are rich in vitamin C, so they're great for immunity, and I just think it tastes good. I love something to enhance my water. So I'll do half a lemon when I'm doing this smaller water bottle. This one's only 20 ounces, I think. And then if I'm doing my big 40-ounce water bottle, I'll do a whole lemon. If you have trouble drinking all the water you need to drink in a day, definitely try enhancing it, adding fruit, citrus, and my goal is to drink 5 of these, so 100 ounces of water. My other 2 things that I go in with in the morning, if you've been watching my vlogs, then I've definitely been talking about this, but first I start with some coconut cold. This is a probiotic yogurt. You only need 1 tablespoon a day to get in all your probiotics that you need. And honestly, I think it tastes amazing. It's a very tart chocolate flavor. I'm gonna go with about that much. You're supposed to take it on an empty stomach. I genuinely think it helps with bloating and just kind of keeping you nice and regulated. I've been enjoying it because it's like my morning sweet treat, basically. And it just kind of makes me feel like I'm doing something productive in the morning. Next up, I'm going in with my bone broth. This is my favorite. It has turmeric and ginger in it, so the taste is a little bit more than just plain broth. 1 serving has 8 grams of protein. Bone broth has so much collagen, protein. It's good for your skin, good for your gut. So I usually do about half a cup, and I heat it up for about 30 seconds. And then I just sip on this. A little hot. I think it tastes really good, specifically the turmeric ginger one. That one is specifically good. And again, I just feel like I'm starting my day off on the right foot instead of, I used to be so notorious for going straight into my coffee on a totally empty stomach. You're definitely not supposed to do that. Hormonally, you should not go straight in with coffee. And yet I did it anyway. Even though I still don't always necessarily have a full meal before coffee, I feel a little bit better having something in my system before coffee. Speaking of breakfast, I just took my sourdough out of the fridge. I want to bake it up and possibly have it for breakfast if I can wait for it to be done baking. I started this loaf yesterday. I did get a few clips of the recipe, so I'm gonna throw those in now. Starting on some sourdough, I was hoping to eat sourdough for breakfast, so we'll see if I can get it done by the morning, but you can see my starter's ready. This is where it started when I fed it this morning, and you want it to double in size, so it's pretty much doubled, and I don't think it's rising anymore because I can see it starting to come back down a little bit. So it's ready to go. I don't think I've fully shared my sourdough recipe since I feel like I've kind of perfected it. I'm gonna share, starting with 150 grams of active starter. It's hard to get it perfect. 151, it doesn't have to be totally perfect. 350 grams room temperature water. This is just tap water, but I find it easier to weigh out if it's in a gallon jug. So I've just been reusing this gallon jug that I bought a long time ago. Water is the one, if you go over it's not fun. So I try to be pretty precise with water. 318, 330, 340, 353. I'm just gonna scoop some out. Perfect. Just giving this a good mix until the water has some bubbles in it. And then 500 grams bread flour. And 10 grams of salt. I've done the salt before mixing, after mixing, during the stretch and fold, a ton of different ways, and I don't feel like it makes a difference. And this is the easiest. So I just go ahead and put the salt in and we give it another good stir. It's not gonna be perfectly incorporated, but once you have this kind of shaggy looking dough, then you're done for now, and we just let it rest for 30 minutes. So after I did 4 sets of stretch and folds, I let it sit out on the counter overnight to let the dough rise. And then I got up this morning at 6 a.m. and I shaped the dough and I threw it into the refrigerator for a minimum of 2 hours. Once you get it in the refrigerator, it can sit in the fridge minimum 2 hours, but up to 48 hours if you're not ready to bake it. So that's kind of the hardest part about sourdough, is timing everything, because I really wanted it already baked this morning. It just didn't work out that way. We are baking it now, and I'll just have to wait a little bit before I can eat it. Here it is. I'm flipping it out onto the counter. I kind of shape it up a little bit. We're gonna put some flour on top, scoring it straight down the middle. Do some little designs. My Dutch oven was preheated in the oven up to 450 degrees. And now I'm gonna bake it with the lid on for 30 minutes. I have another hour before my bread's gonna be ready. I'm about to take it out of the oven and then it has to cool for an hour. So I would have loved to had a slice of toast, maybe with some eggs or something before my coffee. But honestly, in order to feel like I can start my workday, I need my coffee. So I am going to go ahead and go in with the coffee. I've been up for almost 2 hours now, so I definitely kind of try to delay it, but I have to have it before my first meeting of the day kind of thing. So we're gonna go ahead and make our coffee. I'm always changing up my coffee routine depending on what I'm in the mood for. I feel like I pretty much always do lattes. So I'm going in with half almond milk, half oat milk. And then I brewed my espresso over top of a little bit of creamer and a little bit of this bourbon vanilla paste from Trader Joe's. I feel like the bourbon vanilla paste gives it kind of a fall flavor. It's a pretty subtle taste though. I wouldn't say it's some crazy bold flavor. All right, and now I feel ready for my first meeting of the day. Here she is, turned out beautiful, if I do say so myself, nice and toasty, which means it's time for breakfast. I'm not, say, the biggest breakfast person on this earth, honestly, but I do try to have a little bit something before I go to lunch. So we're just gonna go ahead and cut her in half. The first cut is always nerve-wracking because what the inside looks like tells you how well you did. So honest moment of truth. Wow. This might be my best loaf ever. That is perfection to me. Not too dense, not too many holes. Okay, this one's getting a picture. Some of my best work yet, you guys. Just a quick photo shoot of my loaf, you know? I'll probably give half to a friend, but I have to have a slice for breakfast. I'm gonna put some butter on it. Really can't complain. Fresh sourdough bread for breakfast. Like I said, I do wish I baked it yesterday or earlier this morning so that I could have had it before my coffee, but life happens, you know? 10 out of 10. Something bit me on the forehead and it is welling up. It's itching, so ignore that. But I'm about to have lunch and I thought I could sit and chat with you guys on how I prep for my work weeks and how I kind of feed myself during the work week, because it's very relevant to my lunch that I'm about to have. I'm about to have some leftovers. Granted, I do work from home, so I do have a little bit more flexibility for sure when it comes to my food and stuff, because I do have access to a full kitchen and everything when it comes to my lunchtime. But I have gone into an office before. I know what that's like. So I do think my method is usable if you are going into an office. What I do every single weekend, I sit down and I meal plan out for the week. I usually will look at Pinterest and I will come up with anywhere between 2 and 5 ideas for dinner for that week. I would say on a normal week, I might come up with 2 to 3 dinners, and then my husband will have ideas for another 2 dinners because he likes to grill out. So he'll say, hey, I'm gonna grill fish and burgers this week, and then I'll come up with a couple other dinners for us as well. But I always come up with dinners that I know will have leftovers, because I pretty much will eat the leftovers the next day, sometimes 2 days for lunch. I'm a big leftovers person. No food is going to waste in this house. So when I'm looking at things on Pinterest, I'm really prioritizing what I think will heat up well. So usually on Sunday, we'll go to the grocery store, we'll get enough ingredients for recipes, usually between, like I said, 2 to 5, depending on what our plans are for the week. And we'll buy all that stuff and we'll have it for the week. So every night we cook dinner, and then the next day I'm eating those leftovers for my lunch. The other thing that we do is usually meal prep some kind of protein, usually chicken. On Sundays, we'll buy a big pack of chicken and we'll grill it, and we'll have fresh chicken in the fridge. Another kind of option for me to have for lunch, I usually will have some kind of salad kit or salad ingredients in the fridge. And that is kind of our like emergency meal. If nothing else sounds good, if we don't have anything, we always have a salad kit and some chicken ready to go for either a lunch, or sometimes we even have that for dinner. So that's really my schedule. I'm always thinking ahead. I'm always trying to make my day better for future Krista. I'm always like, what can I do today to make tomorrow a better day? And that's for everything, when it comes to catching up on my laundry, when it comes to making my to-do lists and grocery shopping, cooking dinner. I'm kind of always trying to make tomorrow a little bit easier for myself. So I guess it never really makes the next day easier, because the next day, then I'm thinking about the next day, right? So we're always kind of looking forward and trying to make every day the best we can for ourselves. This week, for example, we planned out, I think 4 meals. We planned out to do stuffed peppers. We planned out to do Asian meatballs, which is what I cooked last night. And then I plan to do a sheet pan dinner tonight, which will be great lunch for tomorrow. And then Will wanted to grill ribs one night. So we have 4 kind of dinner plans for this week. I will eat those leftovers for lunch pretty much every single day. Friday, we have plans with our friends, so we don't need to cook because we'll be going out. I say we try to eat out mainly socially. I try to limit it just because we're lazy and prioritize it more for social time. Obviously, sometimes that doesn't happen, but that's the goal. For lunch today, I'm having my meatballs that we cooked last night. They are delicious. Also, the rice cooker. If you don't have a rice cooker, highly suggest. We always have rice on the ready for us. And because I knew this is what I was having for lunch today, I went ahead and recorded myself cooking these last night so you can see the recipe. So I will go ahead and throw that footage in right here. I'm about to work on making dinner, and I know I'm gonna eat these for lunch tomorrow because that's kind of how I plan out my meals. We're making Asian glazed meatballs. I will link the recipe down below. This is one of our favorites. I've made them one time before and we loved them. So when I love a recipe, I always kind of bookmark it and it becomes part of our rotation, and it's pretty easy too. The meatballs only have to cook for like 10-15 minutes, but the broccoli needs to go a little bit longer. So I'm gonna get the broccoli going and then we'll make the meatballs. I honestly don't really measure stuff anymore. I just measure with my heart. It works just fine. Unless it's baking, and then you definitely need to be more precise. I've got a lined baking sheet with parchment paper, and now we just mix it all together with your hands and form them into meatballs. About to get started on the sauce. Here is everything you need plus a few seasonings. Set a timer for 15 minutes. Sauce and putting some on top of the meatballs, but we're also going to put the sauce over top of it, so I just do this super quick. Final product, and I'll have plenty for leftovers tomorrow. I'm just going to top it with sesame seeds and a little bit more green onion. I used to have 2 coffees a day, but these days I am trying to limit my caffeine intake just a little bit, just a little. So instead of 2 coffees, I usually do a coffee and a tea. Just a little midday pick-me-up. I'm making a matcha. Gotta do what you gotta do to get through the workday. I just got back from my workout class. I did a body rock class, which is, I call it Pilates, but I'm pretty sure it's actually Legree. And I'm gonna do a sheet pan dinner tonight. I love to get home from my workout and I'll usually wash my hands and then get dinner kind of going before I take a shower, and then shower and I'm nice and clean and relaxed to eat dinner when it gets ready. So we're gonna preheat the oven. I found this recipe actually on TikTok, and then I'm just kind of putting my own twist on it. I usually will get inspiration from recipes and then just kind of make them up with whatever I have in the house. So this is a pretty easy recipe. Sheet pan, sweet potato, chicken breast, and red onion. The hardest part is just all the chopping. I'm gonna get to chopping and then we'll get this in the oven. Starting with the sweet potato and cutting it up into bite-sized pieces. Sweet potatoes are the hardest thing to cut. They're unnecessarily tough. Next up, red onion. And lastly, chicken breast. For seasoning, I'm just going to drizzle with olive oil. Going in with some garlic powder. Paprika. A little bit of chili powder. And then salt and pepper. Going in the oven for 30 minutes, and while that's doing its thing, I'm gonna take a shower. Like I said, the hardest part about this meal was the 10 minutes it took me to chop everything up, but other than that, it's really easy. Honestly, these bowls don't look that appetizing, but we're going to spice them up just a little bit. They're obviously pretty plain: chicken, sweet potato, red onion, but we're gonna add some toppings to make it a little bit better. You just gotta have some fun with it. So I'm gonna make some hot honey. If you don't have hot honey, you can just make it by mixing honey and hot sauce. I'm using Frank's Red Hot. I'm not gonna do a lot because I don't like it super hot, but just a few drops. Give that a mix and then drizzle this on top. Oh Lord, that was a lot. Did you see how much just went in there? All right, that was way too much. I don't know what we're doing over here. Avocado for some healthy fats. I should chop this up and make it look pretty, but I usually just squeeze it out like this. You are ridiculous. I've never seen you beg so bad. And then the real star, because everything is better, with a little bit of feta cheese on top. And this is dinner with plenty of leftovers for lunch tomorrow. Let's give it a try. I'm gonna get some avocado, sweet potato, honey, red onion. It kind of reminds me of that viral cottage cheese, sweet potato, ground beef bowl. It's very similar to that and very good. Dinner was actually really good. Even Will said it was good. It was like very fresh ingredients, a nice light dinner. It is about 8:30. I'm gonna be in bed in about an hour and a half, but I have to have a sweet treat. It's a requirement. I've been trying to make better sweet treat choices. So instead of the cookies that we would have almost every night, and I'm well aware this isn't that exciting, but we've been switching it out for apples, and it's actually extremely satisfying. I think apples are just pretty big, honestly, and I chop it up so that it's in small pieces, and it is a really satisfying sweet treat. I eat it with a little bit of peanut butter. I'll give myself like 2 tablespoons of peanut butter on the side and do an apple and peanut butter as my sweet treat of the night. Like I said, I know this isn't the most exciting sweet treat ever, but it really has been working for me, and I always have cravings for something sweet late at night, and this has really been doing it for me lately. We've been on the apple kick for probably 2 weeks now. Here's my snack for the evening. Get your nose out of here. That is gonna be the end of this video. This is a very, very realistic day for what I eat, how I plan out my meals, how I plan out my lunches. That dinner I made tonight will be lunch tomorrow, and then we just keep on going like that pretty much all week. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you all so very soon in my next one. Bye guys.